Good morning. Again, I'm Elizabeth Hodges, Executive Director of Communities and Schools of Seattle, a role I've been honored to fill since June of 2019. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us this morning during the 2022 Empower, Achieve, Succeed virtual fundraiser. Many of you are longtime supporters of Communities and Schools of Seattle, and for that, we are extremely grateful. For those of you still getting to know us and our work, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about who Communities in Schools of Seattle is and what we do. Communities in Schools of Seattle is a local affiliate of the nation's leading dropout prevention organization. We're committed to supporting students furthest from education equity through breaking down barriers standing in the way of recognizing their innate brilliance and potential. Our mission is to surround students with a community of support, empowering them to stay in school and achieve in life. We've worked collaboratively with Seattle Public Schools for the last 24 years and currently partner with Aki-Karosi Middle School, Denny International Middle School, Madison Middle School, and South Shore PK8. Communities and Schools of Seattle site coordinators work directly inside these school buildings with students, families, and school staff. In partnership with school leaders, site coordinators complete an annual needs assessment and develop a responsive support plan that addresses individual students as well as school-wide needs. Site coordinators are regularly monitoring and evaluating progress, adjusting services as needed, therefore ensuring that students and schools are continuously connected to the right supports. Through all the uncertainty the last 2 years brought, our site coordinators still impacted over 3,000 students, but we are so far from the finish line. In a moment, you're going to hear directly from the Communities and Schools of Seattle staff, so that way you will definitely be able to learn more about why your financial investment is so critical to our work. But first, we're going to take a moment to look back at some highlights from this past year and let you hear a few words from our board of directors.
All right, thank you for listening, guys. That's all I have for you today. Remember,
go Dolphins!
Yeah!
Hello, my name is Benita Klaimanot. I am the Vice Chair of CISS. I've been on the board since January 2019. It's been an exciting journey. I've seen a lot of positive changes, especially during the pandemic, how the team have come together and really have done a lot of wonderful work. And that's something that always excites me. And I'm happy to continue to be on the board. I'm committed to the youth of our community, and that is why I continue to serve on this board. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Corcoran. I'm the Resource Development Lead for the Community and Schools Seattle Board. I've been a member for 4 months. The reason I support Community and Schools Seattle is they provide essential services to Seattle students to make sure they have every opportunity to succeed and thrive.
My name is Rich Megley. I've been on the Board of Communities and Schools of Seattle for 2 years, and I'm currently the Treasurer and Secretary. I support Communities and Schools because it provides a real solution to a real problem. Helping students stay in school through high school will provide them with many, many more opportunities for the remainder of their lives. The work we do for these students and their families along the way is very valuable to everybody. I truly hope that you will support Communities and Schools like I do, and now at this event is the perfect time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Ward, and I'm on the board for Communities and Schools Seattle, and I've been on the board for about a year. The reason I choose to support Communities and Schools Seattle is because they're meeting a critical need for some of the students and families who need it most. And unfortunately, schools oftentimes are not able to meet all needs for all students. And so it's critical to have programs like this in the school, especially to help fill that gap. Whether it's basic needs, general enrichment, academic support, you have a site coordinator at the school, integrated within the school, providing direct services for students and families. And that's just absolutely critical, especially now. And so this is why I choose to support Communities and Schools, and I hope you will too.
Hi everyone, my name is Christine, and I'm currently a board fellow with CISS. And what that means is I am currently a grad student, and I've been able to sit on the board of CISS for the past 8 months to learn more about how a nonprofit works, and especially how CISS, dedicates themselves to the community. And so the reason why I decided to choose CISS specifically is because, I'm really passionate about the educational field, and CISS does so much in that they not only support the students, they support the families. I think this is a nonprofit that really cares about the community. They don't really just say it, but I've seen it through the actions of the board. I've seen it through how much work and effort they put in to ensure that students, even staff and faculty and families, are all, treated as their top priority. So I'm really excited to be part of this board.
Hi everyone, my name is Allison, and I'm a board intern from the University of Washington. I've been on the board for Communities and Schools of Seattle since September of 2021. And I support CISS because educational equity is extremely important, and every single youth in our community deserves to thrive. I've been impressed by the way CISS has been making this impact by helping students stay in school and achieve their goals. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
And now I'd like to introduce Communities and Schools of Seattle Board Chair, Sam McVitie.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Elizabeth. As always, I'm so grateful to be partnering with you in this work. My name is Sam McVitie, and I'm serving as the current Board Chair of Communities and Schools of Seattle. I'm thrilled to be here today to share my commitment to our organization and talk about why this work is so important to me. As I've gotten to know Communities and Schools of Seattle over the past 5 years, our staff, students, board, and families, I am humbled by the deep commitment to collective, urgent work that is happening every day to close the education equity gap for all Seattle students. In particular, I'm so proud of the resilience and resourcefulness our staff have shown through the pandemic, whether that is ensuring uninterrupted service access for students and families during lockdown, or having those first joyful in-person reunions when conditions allow. And this is why we are here, to support and invest in this work, to ensure that students have all the support services they need to reach their greatest potential, surrounded by a community of care. Our site coordinators help students name and dismantle the barriers they are facing and move mountains to walk alongside them in that journey. Together, they are the heroes of their stories, creating and walking a path to a better, more equitable world. I want each of you to pause and think about an educator or educators in your life who has made a difference for you or your community. For me, it's my dad teaching math to kids who were told they'd never succeed at the subject, or my mom tutoring students after school and helping them with college applications, reminding them that they aren't broken, the system is. If you're comfortable, let's share those names in the chat, or just write them down on a piece of paper. We all know how important education has been to us, and that's what we're here for today. This year, the board's priorities have been to ensure that we are positioned to support the organization long term. We accelerated our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging work towards a shared understanding of structural racism and other forms of oppression. And with this equity lens at the center, we held a series of strategic planning meetings with staff to map out our big picture goals. Throughout, we are continuing to recruit the board with lived experience that reflects the communities we serve and support the staff in all that we do together. We have a goal today to raise $50,000. We are hoping that each of you can help us, staff, students, board, and families, to reach that goal and build a more equitable Seattle. Thank you. And now I would like to send it back to Elizabeth.
Thank you, Sam. At this time, I'd like to present a video filmed on site at Aki Kurosi Middle School featuring the Communities and Schools of Seattle staff team and valued partners from Seattle Public Schools.
You have some families who are displaced right now, and they don't have anywhere to do their homework, or their parents are working so much that they don't have anyone to be there to help them out. Their environment plays a huge role in their behavior at school. And all of that leads up to academics, right? Because they can't achieve success academically if they aren't being taken care of.
With Communities and Schools, we partner with our local school districts. So here in Seattle, we work closely with Seattle Public Schools, and we have staff that are based in schools, and they provide resources and support for students.
Education equity means students have access to amazing resources inside and outside of school that everybody else gets access to. Some of our schools don't have the same resources that other schools in different neighborhoods might have. So when Communities and Schools comes in, our goal is to provide some of those gaps.
Our class sizes seem to continue to grow. It used to be, 20 students to one teacher. Sometimes it gets up to 30 or 40 now. It's really challenging to be able to make time and space to work with individual students. And teachers are doing the absolute best that they can with the resources and time they have available. Where Communities and Schools comes in is really looking at students who need additional support, who really benefit from that one-on-one attention.
The goal of the site coordinator is to work with students who have barriers to their education. Just knowing that somebody at the school is able to cover some of those things, it just makes them feel more present instead of having to worry about taking care of their family or worrying about having enough food at home.
Without Communities and Schools of Seattle and without really specific people like Ms. Mitra, we wouldn't be able to serve students in the ways that we know are best for them. Last year when we were in remote schooling, there was a student who we were trying to get a hold of for 3 weeks and felt a real urgency around connecting with this student. Every single day, Miss Mitra was calling, trying to figure out where the student was. Miss Mitra actually put feet to pavement to try to figure out where the student was at. It happened to be that this student and their family were living in a homeless shelter. We actually went to the shelter where this family was staying and spent multiple hours there getting them laptops, getting them hotspots, connecting them with food services and clothes so that the kids could feel good. And it just always stands out to me that Miss Mitra was the person to coordinate that.
One thing that's unique about communities and schools, I think, is their ability to marshal resources on behalf of the kids in the school community, to look across a spectrum of needs that a student might have, look at the community and be able to pull in what's needed based on what they're seeing.
As adults who are charged with teaching and supporting the development of our kids, we have a generational responsibility to make sure that students are equipped with everything they need.
Thank you so much to our donors who have brought Communities and Schools of Seattle to where we are today. We could not have made the impact that we make with Seattle students without your support. Right now we're serving students in Southeast Seattle and Southwest Seattle, but we really have a big vision to serve students throughout the district. If you're interested in partnering with us on our journey to close the education equity gap, please contact Communities and Schools of Seattle at info@cisseattle.org.
Now please join me in welcoming Communities and Schools National President and CEO, Ray Saldana.
Hello, I am Ray Saldana, President and CEO of Communities in Schools National Office. I want to introduce myself first, of course, as the President and CEO, but much further back than that. I started as a Communities in Schools student myself on the south side of San Antonio. It is something about growing a connection with a caring adult who understands who you are, where you come from, the challenges that you're facing, that truly are what I think about when I've been able to consider what it took to unlock the ability to write my own success story. And as an organization that is currently serving in half the country, 1.3 million students, we get the chance to do this because of the incredible workforce that we support and train and are designing the future to support our students inside our schools at Communities in Schools. So I am so happy to be joining you this morning for the Communities in Schools of Seattle annual Empower, Achieve, Succeed fundraising event. And I was just so excited when the Communities in Schools of Seattle Executive Director, Elizabeth Hodges, reached out and asked me to share a message with all of you. The devoted and unwavering support of this mission, which is more relevant today than it ever has been as we grow out of the recovery and go into the thriving of what we can create for many of the students as we leave the pandemic behind. But we think about the effects that it's had on our students, on our educators, our teachers, our counselors, our principals. And it's in this environment that CIS of Seattle has worked collaboratively with Seattle Public Schools for the last 24 years, planting roots and inspiring students while empowering them to stay in school and achieve in life. As a CIS alumni, I understand the importance of having a caring adult in students' lives who can help me and others really help them navigate their way through school and the challenges or obstacles that may be presented by life. Because as our founder said, it is not a program that is changing students' lives, it's relationships. And before students can get turned on to learning, they need to be turned on to living. And the living really can be some of the most difficult moments in our students' life and in their ability to really write their success story. Our CIS site coordinators working in schools and beyond are those caring adults. They are our heroes. So why are we here this morning? This event gives CIS of Seattle a chance to highlight their work and provide you an opportunity to invest in Seattle students. CIS of Seattle is currently partnering with 4 Seattle public schools, serving over 3,000 students. However, there are more students that could benefit from partnering with CIS of Seattle, and with your help, they can grow. And they will not stop until all Seattle students have the resources they need to succeed in school and achieve in life. And here is the challenge. We invite each of you to join us in supporting CIS of Seattle by making a financial investment. Now, some of you may have heard about Mackenzie Scott's incredible donation to communities and schools. Collectively, she donated $133.5 million, the largest in communities and schools history, to 40 of the 110 affiliates across the country, as well as the national office. And while this affiliate, CIS of Seattle, was not a direct recipient, the CIS of Washington office was, and it received $2.25 million, which will positively impact the entire Washington Communities and Schools network. And one way they are doing this is by matching your investment with those Mackenzie Scott dollars and gift. So all individual gifts of $100 or greater will be matched up to $10,000. With a gift of $100 or more, you can double your impact for youth in Seattle. Before I leave, I just want to give a few shout outs. Thank you to the CIS of Seattle Board of Directors for their commitment to Seattle students and all their support they offer to our staff. And thank you to each of the staff, to Elizabeth, Nicole, Emily, Mitra, Jasmine, and Lucretia for being incredible stewards of the CIS mission. Thank you to all of you for taking the time out of your morning to learn more about communities and schools of Seattle. Please give generously and invest in Seattle students. Thank you for being all in for kids.
Thank you, Ray. We appreciate you taking the time to share your message this morning. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Slagle, and I'm the Development Director here at Communities and Schools of Seattle. Now more than ever is the time to invest in our work as we continue supporting Seattle students most in need of resources and those furthest from education equity. We hope that what we have shared with you this morning will inspire you to dig deep and invest in our work so that we can continue planting roots and inspiring students to thrive and grow. Right now, the donation link is being added to the chat for your convenience. Just give it a click, and in some quick, easy steps, you will have made an incredible impact in the Seattle community. Like Ray mentioned, gifts of $100 or more are matched up to $10,000. So if you can stretch your gift to meet or exceed that threshold, we would greatly appreciate it. We're going to give you a few minutes to make your way to our donation site, and we'll be back with you shortly with a brief message from Executive Director Elizabeth Hodges.